Yes, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring you all massive greetings from the TNN, then and now TV Media Empire. Today, now the 16th of August, 2023. And my name, na Prince Emil Kroma. We've been scheduled this program, which in fact was impromptu, but as we did get them, as so we did try for part with them to we fellow compatriots. So if we did not start this program at 10, obviously we'll not be able due to one thing or the other. But it's going to be a short program, and we just want to bring update to Fambulem on exactly what with the Yeri and how the Yeri with the Yeri, and so they try for passing to Fambulem. Um, we all will recall that on June 24, we get an election. And this election, it turned out to be a very controversial elections, both before, during, and after. But I want to focus on the after for the benefit of this particular program. When the election results were read by the constituted authority for the ECSL, by the ECSL in person of Mr. Mohamed Kone, a lot of people cry foul. And this, of course, involved the major opposition party, where to this day they say the results did not reflect the will of the people. So, in other words, it means the SLPP stroke power government of retired Brigadier His Excellency Julius Madabio did not actually win the elections. They actually not win the elections. So as a consequence of that, people are protesting left, right, and center. This not mean say the president not getting young people them where they support him, but the election results it turned out for be a conflicting one. It turned out for be a conflicting one and a very conflicting one where up to this day get a negative repercussion on the country. And the country as a consequence of that, not sober. In other words, not normal. And I have been saying this for quite a while that the situation that we find ourselves in is not proper, it's not thorough. In other words, the country they in a dilemma, and the country is not in a normal state at all. But of course, being a person we always they engage, so I can engage with my fellow compatriots, them both for and against. And I always try for make me argument on the basis of logic, because let's face it, some of we compatriots them are not making their arguments on the basis of logic. They do allow the lens of partisanship to get the best of them. It's not like they can't express themselves thoroughly and properly or for make their case, but no, they don't because they are all consumed either A with hatredness for the other, we're not supposed to be an excuse, or then just extremely belong to the party. And as a consequence, they take them party and put them forward instead of putting the country first. And of course, we live in a very perturbed atmosphere politically and socially speaking, in which the polarization is just growing by the day. I remember about 2 years, 2.5 years ago, I made a video on the polarization of we politics, we country, and we people. Imagine this is about 2.5 years ago because we saw this coming. And as we speak today, it's so obvious. You can feel it, you can touch it, and you can hear it. It's all pronounced all over the place. But I say this that the country not they in a normal state because after all, when we went into the elections, it was a multi-tier elections. And sometimes when I'm making my argument, it's on this basis. If it's a multi-tier elections or multi-party elections, for better word, then it has to be a multi-tier government or governance. Yes, one party win, but then you get another opposition on the other side where they shadow you and they hold you accountable for a process because we don't have a one party rule. This is where the discordance is. This is where the abnormality of the state is, as at this point. But every time I get engagement again with my compatriots, them, they try for drive this point home. Of course, they don't care. Then see the process as legitimate and it's up to the other. If they're not take what they're supposed to take, well, that's their business. Governments go run as smooth as it can. But then I continue for say, no, the government will not stall, but neither will the government be legitimate. There is a question of legitimacy. And not to one group of people just they make this allegation. The allegation they come up from the middle, the bottom, and the top. And not only domestically, but also internationally as well. Fambule. This nine they go on our country, mind you. This nine actually they go on our country. The government of President Julius Maada Bio continue for struggle for legitimacy because of the lack of prudence, the lack of accountability, and the lack of transparency in a process which be at least supposed to get a higher degree. You don't expect them to be 100% clean. No. But a higher degree of accountability and transparency. And that is questionable. And not only by the local audience, but also by the international audience. But then the government will not agree. The government of Julius Maada Bio will not agree. They're saying that the process of election, it be legitimate, it be open, it be clean, it be free, and it be fair. And the foot soldiers them continue for make the same argument. I mean, basically, they regurgitate within the government, they say. The APC is not good for the country. You go read them all they say that it's like a chorus. The elections were free and fair, and it's like a chorus. Transparency, been there on top of the chain of elections. And you go read them all they say that. Even though this is not true, because there are things that we saw with our own eyes. We did see these things with our own eyes, isn't it? But yet we are in denial that it didn't happen. Okay, I just to go through this quickly, and then we'll come to the point because I expect this broadcast will be really short. One, we've been get issues around pre-elections violence. I know they're not like for you that the detractors not like for you that, but this is real. There was violence, intimidation, coercion, and the rest of it. Good night. Yeah, there was a lot of it that happened. Okay, another broadcast from studio, by the way, so I might have a few interference. So, having said this, we see how with your eyes, but yet some of us they in absolute denial say these things not happen, and being in denial, they make the thing for lay appear like say it not happen. It did. We get videos to that effect, and one day I go do a compilation of them videos. Then they, even though I know say we know, but I know say with the challenges where some of we people and get, the need for continue for see these things, and others they do and deliberately for lie to the general public, in which then they make the public for understand say some of these things did not happen, and it is deliberate because they think if they continue for do them, then people will get for believe the lies and persistency or for they say the thing over and over will just turn black to white or blue to green, or in other words, from a lie to a truth. This is not the case. But we don't see all of this. We don't see the lead up to the election. We don't see the elections. We don't get the results. The results are contestable. That's why we title a program the controversial elections. And that case has not been put to rest. That case they still they on. So the president still sit on there. Of course, he's the president of the country. I have said this over and over and over. The country is not precedentless. You can choose not for recognizing, that's up to you, but there is a precedent. Now, to una way they deny him, of course, that's your choice. But on the basis in which you did deny him, and the basis of which make the man the president, here is it. Even if they declare you president, it not mean say you lack lack legitimacy. Of course, in this case, there is an issue of legitimacy. That's why he's not recognized overall. That's why Paupa, they want the president to be recognized, the government to be recognized, that he win the elections. But this does not go away. Not they go away, not anytime soon, because that thing they continue for hangover. The process of legitimacy means the person where you stand against get for concede, than a one, but not only concede, because if they not concede and they not get case for make, so it's just completely different that this person simply no one for concede. But if you not concede and you get a case for make on the reason why you not concede, especially a strong case backed by evidence, then of course the issue of legitimacy continue to hang over the presidency. So the constituted authority for election declaration, which is the ECSL and its commissioner, went on to declare the current leadership as the winner of the June 24 elections. The Chief Justice, who also is a constituted authority for swearing the president, did swear in the president a couple of days later, I believe 3 days later, on the 27th. And then automatically, because that is the given process, the man became the head of state. But this does not mean that the system is not flawed. And let me say not flawed. It is indeed flawed. These exercises carried out by these constituted authorities. Please hold on for me 1 minute. All right, so make I just run to this quickly. So it not mean say illegitimate. It's not legitimate at all. So anyway, I don't they try for tell me fellow, your Sierra Leoneans and this thing. But of course, if you wear green light, you know the area at all. If you wear red, you get a different take altogether. And it depends on which you they talk. If which you they talk favor the other side, they embrace you. If you not favor the other side, well, you're not enemy. This has been going on for quite a while and it continue for go on. But my points every day continue for vindicate me by virtue of evidence where they come out on a daily basis. As we speak today, we know say the president has constituted an electoral review committee. It don't establish this committee. Why establish the committee? You just need for listing electoral review committee. In other words, where something happened and there are questions around them, then obviously you get for organize yourself or organize a committee for look into that on why there is or there are complaints against a particular process. And in this case, the elections, plenty of issues, plenty of complaints, plenty of dissatisfaction, both locally and internationally on this particular elections. Okay, now here we are. President don't constitute authority because why? They're under pressure. There are people demanding that you need for do something about this. Where other people where they support the presidency think say, well, he's now the president and everything is glory and fine and we can just move on. No, it doesn't work that way. I've said it over and over and over. Equally so to the detractors, this does not make him not to be the president. He's still the president, conducting the business of government on a daily basis. Ambassadors in the country are dealing with him. Foreign governments are dealing with him. So, to some degree, he's the president. But we question the process of the implementation process of the elections, and therefore it needs to be addressed. Waiting happened leading up to the election. How come the election go this way? How come people are complaining about the results? So he organized this review committee. So the review committee now for looking to waiting happen, which is a good move, by the way, but just that the intent, looking at the structure of the entire process or this committee where the president set up, say it is not in good faith. Then I for just give impression to the one day where they put her under pressure that at least something is being done in this regard. And this is exactly what the case is. That people are, again, have become suspicious. Let's not forget to see things of this kind don't happen before, in which the president set up committees inquiries into these issues. Remember the issue of Pademba Road. There was an inquiry. Remember the issue of McKinney. There was an inquiry. But all this inquiry, they never went to the bottom of the issue because one, you want to find out what happened, why it happened, were people gunned down in the case of McKinney extrajudiciously? Was it in line with the law in terms of the way the security paramilitary forces acted? Because there were deaths. Were there inquest into these deaths, cause of deaths, and investigations further on? Were anybody held accountable for this death? Were actions taken to to prevent future occurrence? None of the kind. But committees were indeed set up. So these committees, it's more for the optics, it's more for the public, it's more for the people and way they put pressure, say, well, will they do something? But if there is not going to be substance in these committees, then of course it's nothing but an exercise, an empty, a bag of exercise. And this has been going on for quite a while. For quite a while. Okay. So the president went on for set up this committee. After setting up this committee, of course, a committee is made up of people, not so. And what is of interest is the people that we make up the committee. That is of interest, obviously. But here we go. Here we go. Okay, hold on for me 1 minute, please. Now hold on for me. So the people that we make up the committee, now in we can look at and try for determine waiting na the essence of this committee, waiting at the basis of this committee. How far will this committee go? Will they satisfy the requirement as set up by the president transparently? So let me look at the objectives of the committee. The committee, of course, you can set an objective. You set up the committee after the June 24 elections because of the June 24 elections. That's why the committee was set up in the first place. So for look into all the allegations then they made. So therefore you set an objective. The objective will inform the outcome. So you get the review committee and then for review the legal framework. For review the legal framework, spare me 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Sorry again for do that breaking. Like I say, I'm not actually in a studio. Are they on the road? So the broadcast is mobile. Having said this, so the objective set by the organizers of this committee, i.e., the president, is for review the legal framework of the entire exercise, the electioneering exercise, and then come out with a proposal for how for reform this entire legal framework. I want to listen to this again. This is important because you see the way our politicians can wash with face go up. Now, because we don't get time for look at, I can understand that we're very busy. They look for we daily bread, daily life. But we also get for left good time for they pay attention to them things there we're supposed to provide daily bread for we. Because other than the struggle, if we pay attention to them things there and begin for hold with politicians into account, our life may just improve. At least then we'll begin for look forward to we. But anyway, what I've been to say is this committee then set them up for study the legal framework about all these accusations, the hijacking of institutions, the weaponization of institutions, where you within a power, now you, the institutions they work for, instead of the people, for the people, by the people, but they work for you because you fine tune them into your own channel of frequency, so that whatever it does is to your advantage, and especially with electioneering. So we see plenty of this happen. We see the judiciary fine tuned for fitting the president's agenda. We see the national police to serve and to protect, fine tuned for serve the president's agenda. We see the army. For the first time, I see army man and they dance. And this is the first time. I don't see army man and not dance before, but they dance. They threaten the very people with BB gun them, where people are not getting F. Then they threaten them with BB gun. On video, real time, government need to say nothing. Pumpen government no see. She they not see. In clear violation. I mean, we see all of these things and people are in denial. And the reason because the legal framework of the country not been the function as I supposed for function, because a group of people had hijacked it for let it work in their favor. Like I say, then fine tune them to their frequency. But when you look at the objective of the committee in the first place, because one, it is quite necessary if people and they complain about something as serious as elections, then you obviously need for pay attention to that particular thing. They definitely need for pay attention to them. So you pay attention to them because you want to avoid next time make it not happen again. But in doing so, you first of all get for admit the things then will happen. I always say this on my programs when they talk about my country. You get for admit into things then will happen in the first place. If there were violence, you get for admit that there were violence against people, assaults against people, the weaponization of institutions, which is really bad because the institutions are not functioning in the way they're supposed to function. They are not free, neither are they fair, so they wouldn't work for the purpose they were designed for. Instead, they are redesigned to suit the agenda of the ruling class, the ruling elite. This is really, really bad. So when President set up a review committee for look at what happened both before, during, and after the election, study and review the framework and come out with proposal for reform, how would you do that if you not identify the things that will happen? And this is going to be hard to do. And this is why people like us know. It's not being boisterous. No. Because you're not willing for admit. Remember, people in denial, both the government and its supporters. Then they in denial of the obvious, waiting happen in real time, waiting we see. We see people them go set up one old checkpoint and even beyond where we not see. But almost like a military formation, people in plain clothes in the south, southeast, and make a video and say they were doing this in behalf of the former Minister of Information, Mr. Merado Soare. It been so embarrassing. I believe it was embarrassing that I been get for come out with a statement for deny. But if you see people and get mind for do that, now because somebody don't empower them on that level, that they make video, they call you name, they call government in name. They not just do them. If there were consequences for doing such, people will not do that. The same thing go to soldier man and the dance, whether in a presidential guard or other soldier man them of different background. They dance, they celebrate killing of the young people them. Can you imagine? So you get for admit to all of this. When you don't admit to this, because that will be the prerequisite for going forward. Okay. That will actually be the prerequisite for going forward, if you understand what I mean. Yeah? Okay, una hang on with for me. just the switch off video for adjust the switch off video for a while, but una go hear me voice obviously. Una go definitely hear me voice. Yeah. So what's happening to say in this case is when you don't go about, you don't set up waiting you they set up so. You therefore admit to the wrongs them way you don't do in the society. Because if you don't identify them wrong then they, you're not go ever able to make meaningful reforms. I repeat, if you don't identify those wrongs, because everything you do now will have to be in good faith. So you go ahead and admit the wrongs. And then you can reform the wrongs then they. Because the wrongs on admittance, now in the inform All right, Fambulem, many thanks. I'm so impressed. I lost Tuna for a while. I lost transmission for a while, but we still get over 100 people still tuning. And please let we share. These things are very, very important. Important. Anyway, for carry on, if you carry out this review, I keep the repeat them because this is important. I know I'm going to have conversations out there again in the coming days around this, but I like for lay emphasis. And even so that even the ones them way probably they on the other side of the argument, at least we go find way for meet up in the middle. Okay? But if you constitute an authority for have a review on something will happen, again for based on the things them will happen. And you can't whitewash this because if you whitewash them, then there is no sincerity. And this is at the heart of the problem. This then at the heart of the problem. Let's be honest about this. Okay? So therefore, If you go on and go pick man them where you're not supposed for pick, you know, and what I mean by man them where you're not supposed for pick, it just simply mean people them when are you cronies. Now you demean them. Now people them where you reign supreme over. I mean, in other words, the authority for them or of them is not independent. It's equally influenced. The same thing that you are being accused of, hijacking ministries, hijacking institutions and departments, influencing, some other agencies them for work only in your behalf, not in behalf of the state and its people, but on your behalf, so that you go get a desired outcome. That is corruption, here by itself. So there are many accusations on this basis of waiting transpire, waiting really happen. So much so that the president feel compelled. And when I tell people and say the president they're under pressure, they can deny. But of course, because some of we compatriots, then their argument is still below the bar. And the government itself knows this. Now, so the government can look at we. Like the man the way they serve government now, politicians then generally, they feel say they really sabi because they are given the opportunity to serve. Then forget say now opportunity for serve and now lend 9 people and lend them the power. So come down to the presidency where we go vote for, and then the president, by virtue of the power where we invest in the president is pleased for employ XYZ for help him for carry on with the business of leadership, with the business of governance. Somewhere in all of this is me and you. This is why we need for continue for talk, for advocate, for protest when things are not right. For bring government back to, reality. Say government, something is not right. We have to make government work for us. And to make government work for us, we don't have to be that extreme partisanship. So extreme in we partisanship that we need the whole government accountable. Instead, waiting we want for do. Now, because some of us, they get crumbs where they fall off the table. So therefore, it doesn't really matter whether government they do wrong. And we continue to see this every day. In all governments, the last government was the same thing. You get this extreme partisanship where everything the government does is right. And going forward, we are seeing the same thing is deja vu all over again. When does this stop? When will government begin to work for its people? And when I say work for its people, I mean proper work for its people. I know they talk about Teflon projects or just, rhetoric, spewing, hot rhetoric them from inside and mouth them, just the big full people them, instead of, reality, create opportunities. But all time we hear history, all time a rhetoric, we don't begin to hear the rhetoric back. And that's why we sit down. Now, October 9, the council. The former minister of finance, then chief minister, same thing when they tell we 5-6 years ago for tell we say these people are really unserious. I mean, a good 99% of them are really, really unserious. The man JJ Blood tell we say in 3 months. The last time he tell we say in 6 months. Of course, we all know what happened. It's needless for go over that because that would just be waste of time. Can you pressure go up, for make the argument? But this same man, as chief minister, get the audacity election they come. I mean, we're so used to lying to our people, saying untruth things them that the man get the goal for team up na national TV because he get access to a national radio and he get big pulpit so he can team up and talk because he's a minister of government for tell people and say in 3 months then go change the economy. Can you imagine? Same man we promised we 5 years ago that in 6 months and then we begin hearing the Ukraine talk and 2 money side by side, old and new, a failed bank governor, nothing happened, $68 million bribe and it became an argument. No, the man no bribe, he not say so and what have you. And before you go look that die down and the country continue for bleed and no one should talk, no one should protest because you will get half numbs call them and the most stupid vulgarity what I don't ever see. Now people the way they come out, say then they go whole counter protest because other people in protest. They're not go protest for something, making light of the meaning of protest, the word itself protest, and then the action itself protest. People then go out for go protest something. You come protest against the people. And when they realize and think upon themselves that it was so stupid, The whole action was so buffoonery, and then change and say they can't celebrate democracy. In fact, they just continue to make more mockery of themselves. Celebrate democracy with State Department. Celebrate democracy with number 10. Celebrate democracy with... Are you serious? So you see how weird and twisted the whole thing is, where we serve the people. Now we cause this simply because we support Marabio, so therefore we cannot hold him accountable. Whatever he does, even though he's an imperfect man, because he's a human being, but to some people, in order to do anything wrong, anything we do correct. For those we go hold them, accountable, I mean, they are completely wrong. Completely wrong. Can you imagine this, for goodness sake? How long will this continue, Sierra Leonean people? How long? So anyway, back to the topic. We don't say pressure they on, and why pressure not go they on? Let me take time put this back again. I've been saying this for a while. I try for maybe go slowly. So we know say we hold elections. For goodness sake, the elections were not thorough. Thorough in the sense, election get processes. It get processes. The way how we get for go about them. And not just out of we head, is documented by law. Elections law, the constitution, and etc., etc. We need for follow these. The run-up to the election, see how laws were being twisted and manipulated, interpreted, misinterpreted. The PR system, for example, power we for use the PR system. Even though the PR system speaks to a time where it appropriate for use, when boundaries are under question, like the country they at war, so therefore some of the people them are unreachable. We don't have sway over the entire country, so we can employ the use of a special tool or system called the PR, for example, for makeup for that anomaly. But yet in a normal time, under, I think this now the Second Republic, and I believe now the 6th Parliament, this or the 5th Parliament, where we get the entire country, all we borders, then they under government control. A day under we control. Yet the PR system became the nomenclature. But power, it became an argument in Parliament instead of it being rightfully dismissed. It wasn't. They turned out to be an argument in which the speaker, a very corrupt speaker, by the way, I mean the record speaks, so not to me they make this up. Very corrupt. The man has been corrupt from time immemorial. From time immemorial. He sold our passports. He made tens of thousands of dollars out of it, and he was prosecuted. His properties were seized. Somehow he found his way back inside politics, and he was forgiven. Same thief man, they bring come back inside politics. A monkey they left in Blackhan and go put him inside Parliament, the 3rd most powerful man of the country. At one time, he was caught in a compromised position. In a compromised position. We not get any business for the day any longer. If we country, we leadership, didn't get any sense of decency. He needed to have been gone. Even if now you party go find other place for put him. Not the 3rd man of the country. How others then they look at we then? Don't we ever they think about this? Or we not really care how other people and they really look at we when we catch we number 3 man of the country in a compromised position? It became an argument again on media. Even though the man was caught in a compromised position, it became an argument in the media. That the man was right. I mean, he been in privacy, and your privacy continue as a public figure. Your privacy continues to be private as long as it is kept private. But once it comes to the public domain, you not manage for keep them under wraps. It's no longer private, it's public property. Public property. Your privacy is so limited that it is beyond your wall. But even beyond your wall, if you don't maintain and they proper, it come out. It becomes we property. We are paying you probably that house you dey inside. Now we, the taxpayer, they pay for that. And every time you they ask for more money. But that's not the issue. That was then. Yet this man, it turned out the PR system and be fooled with one moment. Well, the president can use them according to the constitution if you want to use them. But I'm sure there's a but, because there are lines on which the president can teeter around. He's a very powerful man because we get an executive presidency. He can grab tomorrow morning a decree. But then, even though he get this power for do so and decree, he still get for go to parliament for go. He get for go parliament for go ask Fambulem. But such are the times that we did in. So back to this committee. This committee, the intent for set them up, of course, it sounds all well and good. Famudela shape, we get almost 300 people in the watch. We really need for shape this. In fact, it's gone over 300 total. Members say we did broadcast to 2 platforms simultaneously. So probably one of the platforms where you look at them, it go to show a different number from what me they show me. They call the figures in the central picture, where now the sum total for both platforms. So we get like 302. Okay, please share. And 219, it don't go to, so 3 are gone. If we just share all 302 again, if we just share 302, we might as well just get about 600 people to watch. So Sierra Leonean, whether you like what they talk or not, I talk I'm in behalf of Salome. It's not private, not personal. So I'm asking you share this because you they watch anyway. So not say you know they share because you know one other person can watch. That would be selfish. And not only watch, please, if you like the video, click the like button. I mean, we can't get video 20,000, 30, 50,000, and then you get 1,000 like. Please. Sunday, Publicity Secretary of the All People's Congress, what's his name? CDI Tunis will be on the platform. Back to President Madabio. So after the non-swear in and non-perform all function, they are befitting a presidency. It does not really make him legitimate. It doesn't, because there are questions. The thing where they fulfill the legitimacy in some degree, because there are components of legitimacy in this case. So it's not only the law carrying out the legal requirements of the law. So the legal requirement in this case will be the Chief Justice swearing the president-elect, the Electoral Commissioner declaring the president-elect as the duly elected leader. But in this case, questions are being asked as to how he arrived at the number, the magic number, where give this president 55% plus of the vote, will make there is no runoff. Because everything else be the project towards runoff. The history, the numbers, the vote. But of course, the president be known to tell we say like joke, there will be no runoff. Because you don't want for entertain that, you don't know what is going to happen. So first thing first, now for try and take this thing one go. And the president actually put effort. You know, now my first time I see president the campaign, so he actually did campaign. A campaign against Adebayo. But this was a strategy, was a tactic. I did not like it, yeah, because I thought the president came down. But of course, that was his strategy, and the people were advising him for do that. He also went dirty, nasty. In other words, addressing a former colleague of his, former president, EBK, in a very vulgar way. Of course, you at the try for fan, euphemism will go befit the presidency. But I mean, it's useless because after all, he was very vulgar. He was outright expletive against the former president. And that was a bit strange. And catch me because I can like for do hair splitting analysis. The members say, oh my God, why did President Bio do this? why he call out the former president so? Why speak to her so disrespectfully on the campaign trail? Of course, these were all strategies, but to me, it appear like say pressure be beaucoup, and it be minimum when he speaks so. Because to me, it appear like say he was feeling a certain kind of a pressure that he tried for broke that, because one of the people that will be standing in the way indirectly now the former president, because he was powerful enough, he get a lot of supporters, them followers, them, and he get money. So he pull strings them behind the scene, and probably be the ambog this president, and they make in potential for return to power slim. So that being force the president for openly attack him. Openly. But anyway, that was then. But all of these things they now we talk about, so that when they declare the man, and not mean say that illegitimate. That's one component. The man will declare him. Now then they ask him, where did you get these numbers from? So in other words, again, one common example we can always kind of made. I believe say we all go school where they watch. Even if we not finish school, at some point where we go school, at the end of the year, or even before the end of the year, depending on how many terms then at the part of the world where you go school, but they're broken down into terms or semesters. The Americans are more like semesters. The English is more like terms. So every term, you will get your result in the form of a report card, like in report. That report card, they outline everything where you do in terms of you subject them, where at the end of them go show a percentage. But the percentage, there is a workload there where show how the percentage is arrived at. Not to just did it by just pluck them from out. And this is the problem with Mr. Mohammed Kone from the Electoral Commissioner boss. It just give me percentage. How did we arrive at this percentage? This has been a legitimate question. We continue for hunt this president to this day. We make the legitimacy of his presidency still questionable, both domestically and internationally. Remember, there were international observers. Their observation, then put on pen and paper. There's a preliminary observation report, and there is a final report where they write. They send them to them bosses, them, the EU, the Irish Aid, the Carter Center, and everybody compile them reports and then get one where probably they go form a policy out of going into the future. Waiting happen, we're almost equal to a review, like the one where the president orders so. But these are the processes of we elections is supposed for happen. Institutions are supposed to be free, neutral, not weaponized against another. They're supposed to function the way how they're supposed for function. But in this case, it's a no, no, no. To a point where opposition party will not campaign or not allow them for campaign na government territory. And that's a huge swath of territory. So if you deny somebody from campaigning at their territory, then that is by election law foul. That's corruption. That's illegal. So you see the processes and the framework of election not be open at all. And this is what people are questioning to this day. So you want to declare yourself president. You want, well, I say declare yourself, not to declare yourself. Everybody knows what I mean. You want to be legitimate, but then you get all the skeleton there inside your closet. How do you really get rid of them? How? To get rid of them means that you will have to order a review. And the review has to be honest. It has to be a honest review. What thing happened? When it happened? How it happened? Where it happened? And so forth and so on. That's an investigation. Full-time investigation. Mr. Mohammed Kone has been questioned as to how he arrived at the report at this result will make President Bio president. He's been questioned over and over. He's been dismissive. Sometimes the way you don't get answers, now so you do, you just dismiss. And then you hide under the cloak of some kangaroo law, where the law not say I for do so. In other words, they are just playing around with it. Similar thing like the PR system. The interpretation of the laws are not they in line with the way how the law is or what the law is. It's not. Let's be real. One of the major problems where we get is we get people that we're not a lawyer where they act like say they're a lawyer. I mean, you can intimate. You can talk little bit on the periphery, but you can't act like you're making decisions on something where not to your profession. You are not a lawyer by profession. You are not. You can read the law. You may have an understanding of the law. You may make an attempt to interpret it. You might even have an argument around it. At the end, it doesn't make you a lawyer. Orange na orange. Dr. Lumumba say mango where they try for act like apple is still a mango. This is serious, Fambulem. It make we country they in disarray. We country they in disarray. Some of we they pretend. And the way I don't know say it in disarray, now the continuous protest. And now we see so-called counter-protest. We not go protest about anything else, but about people that we go protest. I really don't want to talk about this because the first day we happen, something that you're not going for way in. But this is not about friends' business because you get party them and you just know something that you don't want to offend them, just want to let them get along. But if not for country, why will you hesitate to put a friend on the spot? And I will expect a friend, not even a friend or a foe, for put me on the spot if I go wrong. Sometimes people have a go at me all of the time because like what they say so now, the SLPP go say na APC, but does this sound like APC? When you say so, I understand, but I don't agree. All what they talk is reality. These are things will happen. And there are many cries from all quarters, domestically and internationally, for right the wrongs. Those wrongs, until we right them, President Bio will continue to suffer from issues pertaining to legitimacy. Every president wants to be recognized fully, wholesomely. I repeat, all presidents want to let them recognize them wholly and fully. And first of all, one begin internally with the young country where they govern, because you might employ methods of division where you look for power because it plays well for you. But what happens after you don't win the election? How do you govern the people and where you be on split? Where you be on run with propaganda, make them scatter. Now you want to put them together. And then it's difficult. You can't run the entire country. You got enemies there, opposition there, all over the place, and you just get a small circle of friends. And presidents are not normally well informed because they depend on a batch of advisors, especially with Marabio. Marabio is unpopular. Marabio does not go out like other presidents would normally do, who's got an affinity, an affection with the public, and the public vice versa get the same forum. No. So he's not really informed on the realities of the ground. He depends on a battery of advisors who as well might just be unscrupulous. And for tell President Chu, he adds, now I make one parable where pool is for put lepet bondo, not to in the team. Now Uda the only foot for pull the business. This na in the problem. So they will keep telling the president what the president wants to hear, whereas the reality na the ground is a completely different story. Completely different story. Fambulem, this committee where the president organized, I can say Anaya that on pen and paper is fine because it's something that needs to be done. So on pen and paper is fine. The intent where I can try, I go try for George. I go say a fine, but enough fine. Because why? A fine by the idea itself that you're setting up a committee for try for get to the bottom of waiting happen leading to we elections and after the elections and why so many people are disgruntled. But it not fine because that same intention where probably you really, I mean, you want for get to the bottom of this, but the reality is for get to the bottom of them, it means that you get for accept wrongdoings. It means that you get for accept say people die for nothing. The woman, the nurse, killed at the APC HQ. Can you imagine? Opposition they assembled. That was an act of intimidation. That was it. An act of intimidation. Whilst you the dance, you supporters then they dance na your own party HQ, the opposition assembling na their own place. Thugs in uniform end up going there because the action definitely was thuggish and it not been new on the entire election exercise. Open up live fire, which they've been used to doing. And you see, they say this with confidence because why? This has been a daily occurrence. Intimidation, yeah, bastardization, yanda, beat up people, yanda, coercion, yanda, arrest, yanda, detain, yeah, over the number of days required by law for keep pausing, extension of them detention other than there, extrajudicial killings, and etc. It was just rampant all over the place. This is not conjecture. This is not propaganda. This is not a hypothesis. It's a fact with a capital F. And all of you watching know this. You might disagree because you support, but where the principle, if you get any? Where the morals, if you get any? These things happen, didn't they? Of course they did. Now that intention, they are not too clean because you therefore accept all lentin in there. Are you willing to accept those? No, sir. I believe you're not. Because Paupa, you for be president. Paupa, salon for better. Paupa, salon for better. So now, because of pressures, because remember, if this president not be under pressure, he will not cave in. And to this review, electoral review, which the objective of now for do a review for sort of look at a legal framework and how the legal framework turn. Did it work for the people or not? And waiting for propose out of the outcome for reform. And it's a good thing, let's be honest. But the thing we don't become suspects too. I almost go in circle now, but some of these things you are very well guilty of. Soldier man them, you people in a lodge, soldiers with guns, heavy machine guns that you can use in a war front. They dance, war songs, they intimidate the people. They threaten them for die, then go die. And die business not funny. I don't know when life becomes so cheap. I know say during and after the war, especially after the war, life became cheap. We will be small, diamond business, nothing will be afraid. We walk we actually they jump over the body because we been get all this myth now we hear about diamond and ghost and spirits. Yeah. I remember a day Black Hole Road, I think I don't tell this story a few times. Then a 160 Black Hole Road, a home owned by SHO Boriden. So from inside, we host that up Gary Day 160 Black Hole Road. This is back in the 70s. You see Boston Community Center. I mean, from inside my room or the parlor, you see straight inside Boston Community Center. Boston Community Center, of course, it was a community center for the community. So there were many things happening there, both for in pain or in joy. Married, jolly business. I be like jolly, wonderful. Let me get the place there so they go watch jolly. And then the hall for different events and burying as well. Like you can lay people in there when they go bury them. And then they might be fearful. Even the casket, be fearful. Now then tell them they put cut in a diamond and nose. As a small boy, I be like for seeing in the then a net now free don't come. However you do you at him up now at the state inside Boston Community Center, you see the diamond also. You see a clear one. It be fearful. The grave them, then tell them, because we also live na mess with them in the make we use. We go live na mess. I go live na mess with me uncle and me auntie. The house where we live, the beringonde right behind them. Right behind them. If you go to the kitchen, you see the beringon and the beringon and the now red dirty. And the dirty, mounds of dirty, like where they make heap for plants, petete and other things them. Now so the grave them in some of the grave, most of the grave them in town. And then they get the iron, like the metal, with metal plate two sides and go write about the person in profile. But amount of dirty and some grave they can get peeled. I mean, fearful for a small boy. By then, what was I? 1971, 70, 73, 71, we became a republic. I still remember. Okay, left hand to right hand traffic, something like that. So yeah, pretty much a small boy. And then I get for go to kitchen for go take water or something. And anytime you go to kitchen, I mean, look the window, look the grave. Can you imagine? Mango they all day no drink. You go lay on a bed, you peace because you can't grab. But anyway, for come back to what you will say, diamond, you get for jump over diamond during the war. So I mean, the myth around death, the ghost business, it became clear. Say, but then thing they are them. I don't think say they exist because as we grow up now, they mature. We don't see this war. We don't jump over diamond them. And depending on your conditions, sometimes if you go find food for it, sometimes outside diamond they pan rotten, you go see dog they eat diamond or fall. If fall they or if dog save they. But we don't see all anything in it. Or you go see don't they eat. Can you imagine? So of course, during that period of the day, diamond became nothing. We understand say but goes not to nothing. Look the people and we kill people them. Of course, conscience-wise, it follows you, work on you, but then ghosts them when you don't die, bruh. If ghosts be really there, then people they way enslave people and put chain them on them, beat them up 24/7 and what have you. So in some cases they kill. Then ghosts then people and then they will come for. You go just team up, you see person they run because ghosts they run there. But none of this happened. So not just myth. But we lives have become cheaper as time they go on. That every day inside salon, I mean, people and they die. Just kill people, stab. Massacre, Patemba Road, Makeni. A day or two ago, I see another picture on social media. Of course, they caution we say, for say viewer discretion, because some of the things that you really forget hard for see. I didn't call the boy Arata. Arata was a famous guy, supported the president. 2018, it caused so much trouble up Malama, Namafa field. Help for bringing this president into power. He was recognized and he was all over the place. But when man on serious, he on serious. Instead of it transforming life, I mean, the president know you. Instead of it transform your life, he didn't. He continued to do the same rubbish. Can you imagine? Now, some picture come out and I don't see him a few times. The picture actually look like him. But again, I go hold back until I actually confirm that. But I mean, the picture itself looks so gruesome that Motorman being treated that way. I mean, really chop the person head and all side. This is the kind of way that we did now. People and young man and they smoke kush, which is an epidemic, like I say. I call them an enterprise. Because without that, I mean, on an enterprising scale, it means a lot of other people are involved, including the alleged them. The big one, them, this is a franchise now. And it's serious. And I see community, they go after people. And this not to the solution because in the end, you are just victimizing the victim. If you really want to be a vigilante, which I know they encourage because vigilantism is deadly. It's deadly. The intention can be good, but inside there, you get people them way unscrupulous and get different intent. But again, with the issue they talk about, don't go victimize the victim, them go beat them up. Not to show you the men people them. We're addicted. This is not addiction. Not addiction. And you're taking the law into your hands. Government need to stop these people. Again, for proof, say you are not the inside them business there, you need for take control. Anyway, President Biodon set up this committee. This committee here, is it going to go forward? Why not make the committee independent? Independent in the sense that you put people way independent for head or chair the committee. But do we have, or how many independent people do we have in Freetown, in Sierra Leone as a whole? How much independent people where we get? Because you are either here or there. And I know they say that they not get to, but on that level of the politics where they play, everybody get a side whose side they belong. And the government of the day now they call the shots. And I listened to the US ambassador, and let me just come to that quickly. Because that speaks to the point that I'm trying to make. But it's supposed to be common sense. When we country, we can argue against common sense. Common sense will imply that if you set up something for investigate your own doing or doings, you go get for offend somebody, an umpire who is neutral. This is not a position of common sense. Very, very common sense. An umpire who is neutral, who is independent. Because for render justice or for get an outcome which will be satisfactory to the opponent in this case, the people, those that are complaining, the general public, you therefore need an independent commission. An independent commission means that the commission is made up of independent-minded people who are not tied on to the establishment, to the system. So that when they render that judgment, it will be a fair judgment based on the evidence put before them, based on the outcome of the investigation of whatever then they investigate. It is not tailored by pressure from high above. No. It is not tailored by the fact that you did at the commission, you go feel intimidated or will be intimidated. So therefore, your decision where you render will be unfair because it is based on a factor of fear that there will be persecution based on you saying the truth, which is not what is expected of the aggressor or the person who commission the commission. I hope so now you understand me, Famble. I'll take a quick look at some of the comments them. Just a quick one, and Famble, and just for reminder now, they take a quick break, we'll come, we'll go quickly to the comments, and then we wrap up this program. But just for reminder now, on Sunday, the publicity secretary of the All People's Congress, where happens for be Mr. CDI Tunis, will be on this platform at 10 p.m. UK time. 10 p.m. UK time. Please spread the word. It's going to be interesting because even myself want to know, where does APC stand now? Do they stand originally by the demands? If the demands are not met, will they continue to remain resolute, unshakable, unmovable? Is there a civil war brewing in terms of people from inside the party, but from different ideological persuasion within the party? We already know they feel settled, who are becoming a little bit restless. Will it become a public, or will there be a public spat? This is not just a taster, but it is coming. Famulem Unalom do one last year. There's almost 500 of us watching. If we can double this number before we wrap up, because I bring the real bombshell now for close the program. Okay? But let's take a quick break. We'll come, we'll go look at the comments them quickly, and then we'll go move on for close the program. This is not the TNN TV Media Empire. My name is Prince Emil Kroma. Kroma, not Koroma. Kroma, Kroma. Today, now the 16th of August. 20, of course, it's gone past the 16th. It's after 12. The 17th of August, 2023. Don't touch that dial. Okay, Famulem, we are back. Like I say, we will check out the comments then quickly. They're not very many. And please do not forget, man, there are about 500 of us watching. Please let's make one last attempt for share. Then a one, two. If you like the video, please mention please like the video if you like the video. If you don't like, feel free for comment. But please let's keep all comments respectful. So we get Uda Naya, okay, we get Janet Savage is watching. Hi, sister Janet. How you doing? Mohammed Toure is watching. Brother Mohammed, how are you? I hope all is well. Thanks for watching. Who else we have here? Okay, so we get a few people I'm watching. I can't make up this name. Naomi Keita. Now, sorry, my eyes not too good. Yeah, but Paupa, we go continue for bring the program now. So this person say, you na APC moderator, Lamin Sisi. You na APC moderator. I've told you this long. Now see what you are saying about the just concluded election. As you have said it, that everybody is saying it, that the election was free and fair. So everybody is not majority. Why are you and your minority are saying it not so? Okay, so first of all, Lamin Sisse, I find you contribution, yeah, you entitled to your view, but your conclusion I find quite ridiculous. How did you arrive at the majority? Then a question for you, but many thanks for your contribution. Who else we get? We get Alusain Kiru. What the American ambassador said is to remind Mother Bill that he has the key to this problem. The voice of America is the voice of the world. There is no way SLPP can move forward, and that's a fact. So some of my information, they come from them, big wigs there. I do a lot of research, yeah, from different aspects of people, from different aspects of media, digging deep diving for get information and what they look for, even from government officials, opposition leaders, and etc. So yes, the U.S. ambassador did speak, and I will come to that towards the end of the show for conclude the show. So Fatmata Ali is watching. Julie Grant. Good evening, Fatmata. Good evening, Julie. Charles Dennis Brown. Exactly. I just can't believe we have such idiots. Such idiots. I wonder who's that going for, Mr. Brown. Okay, we have Hassan Koroma. True, my brother. Keep on telling the truth, sir. And I'm sure that was for me. And of course, there's nothing that's going to stop me from saying the truth. The thing about me talking and the way I talk with the emphasis now, because I deeply get a conviction, of waiting at the say. It's about my country in the first place, not about party first. No, it's about my country. So now my conviction, and but many thanks. Leah Johnson Himmler, keep on speaking the truth, my brother. You are doing a great job. Many thanks there. Yeah. John Cisse is watching. Stephen Nyale, okay, Stephen Nyale. Stephen Nyale is advertising a website. Stephen Nyale, you need to come through me for help you for advertise your site. Anyway, let's see what he's got there. It's always got interesting stuff. Prince, you need to chill. We are in the UK and we know the problem of drugs and knife crime. What are you talking about? So, okay, first of all, two rights does not make wrong. It does not. I mean, two wrongs does not make right. Okay, you need to understand this. I'm talking about the issue in my country, and they talk about we are in the UK and we know the issue about drug and knife crime. Well, we know that. The same thing in America, we know the issue about guns. So if the issues about guns are rampant in America and the issue about knife crime is rampant in the UK, so we not for talk about our own country. Come on, Stephen Nyale, you should know better. That cheap stuff doesn't work here. That's not a nice excuse, man. Okay? Mahmoud by Mahmoud. All the elected and appointed officials have started receiving salaries. Mohammed Kone pay us our money. ECSL pay us our money. ECSL pay us our... Okay, maybe this person, I would think this person, Mother by Mahmoud, now for giving a little bit more context, yeah? But it sounds like, and I just guess that you participated in elections as an employee of ECSL. Now you have not been paid. If this is the case, let us know. We have to advertise it because when people work, they should get paid. When people then work, they forget paid. Mos D. Mos D. Alusign Caesar, I respect your opinion, but sometimes your views can be very offensive and degrading. How can you say the voice of America is the voice of the world? On one hand, you people are talking about human rights and democracy, or what you, on the other hand, you are propagating an authoritarian system or colonialism. Under the Convention of the Declaration of the UN Decolonization Charter, every nation must be a sovereign nation under the human right. I agree with you, Mos D, and I believe, say, without speaking for Alusign, that he meant something else, but he made a big mistake there by saying the voice of America speaks for the world. And I think, say, they conflate that with just because they get America and America being number one, so therefore voice of America. So I do agree with you. It doesn't speak for everybody, and it's not number one. Yeah, but thank you for that comments anyway. Stephen Nyale, you guys want the international community to run the elections. Well done, Prince. No, Stephen, not to run the elections, for Marabio to run the elections fairly and thoroughly. The man himself have admitted, yeah, by virtue of commissioning this commission, that there are issues with the framework, the legal framework of the election system, the election laws. And how do we rectify this so that we don't have to encounter this again? Stephen, you need to read through the lines, brother. Don't just be a supporter, be a critic as well when it's necessary. Thank you for your comments anyway. Hi there. Okay, that's Amadou Barry. Okay, my dear lovely sister, Syrian Kamara is watching. Syrian all the way from Southeast. How you do? I don't work hard all in few days there. That's why you haven't seen me. But my next day off, definitely I'll be in shop, so we'll catch up with the usual. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Stephen Yale again. Prince, I advise, but you refuse to listen. You they steal tower. I don't know what you advise you. Oh, Stephen, interesting chap. Good evening. Okay. What is name here? It look like some Nordic name. I'm able to pronounce and so I go skip over up. Martha Bangura is watching. We also have Amadou Barry. Hi, Chroma. Mr. Barry, my name not get H pana, but many thanks for the attempt. Don't you think your view on President Bio's struggle for legitimacy is far-fetched? Well, I think that's a legitimate question that you ask, because it depends on which you think my view is, because now they try for Express Naya. If we tell the Express Naya you think that is far-fetched, then I deserve for express some reservation. But remember that already at the talk is based on evidence available. The legitimacy I try for broken down. Legitimacy, when they swear you in, okay, that's some form of legitimacy. When they declare you as president, that's some form of legitimacy. But a legitimacy itself can be questionable. So not because they swear you in means that you're legitimate, because there are other elements for complete the legitimacy. For example, now it make you can see or recognition from foreign entities, foreign governments that are in representation of your legitimacy, that they recognize the elections and believe that it was won. So therefore, you are being congratulated and welcome. This has not been the case and is very slowly happening. So you see, already at the same terms of the legitimacy, Amadou. Now, on that basis, nothing really personal, to be honest. I congratulated the presidency when he was sworn in and etc. But the argument is there to be made. And this is my business to do analysis, look at issues, and with the data we available, see whether I can use them for inform the general public. But many thanks for your contribution or you question. Abdullahi Saidu. First of all, President Bio has no legitimacy problem. Well, of course, you're entitled to that. But instead of just putting, just say and so, give it some nuance, okay? Not to for just say, because we don't eat and they bokutem. Oh, the president not do this. Oh, he not do that. Oh, this, that. Yeah. But many thanks for that. Mohammed White Kamara. Hi, Mr. Kamara. Who is this? Fona Abdul. We need a rerun of election or else they will feel us. I don't know how they will feel now. Yeah. Okay. But many thanks for your expression there. Saliu Jallo. Good day, sir. Yes, Saliu. Saliu, how you do? Saliu Jallo. Yeah, another journalist. Abdul Salem. So, good job, sir. Many thanks. Sister Mariatu Anderson. I am watching. Thank you, Sister Mariatu. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for watching. Ahmed Kamara. My brother, don't mind the Pauper critics. You are doing a great job. Yay, thank you very much. Thank you. Alimsin Mansare. Continue the good work, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mansare. Let's take three more and then we close this really. Because there seems to be quite a few comments. Let's see. Salimatu Kamara. Except when they are responsible for almost half of the day-to-day running of a country, in case Sierra Leone depends on them. Okay, we get Kindo watching. Kindo, what does he say? Thanks for the good job. Thank you, Kindo. What else? Sister Margaret Kamara. Okay, that's it. Thanks for the good job, sir. That's Sister Margaret Kamara. Jagogs. What does he say there? I am here too, watching from Iowa. Hi, Iowa. Brother, spread the message of then and now in Iowa. I'm sure you're doing just that. Final one will be from Abdul Sisi. At shore, in this century, no man is an island. No one country can stand on one leg and govern its people without outsiders' contribution. Of course, I absolutely agree with that. That's a fact. Okay, so let me come back. Let me come back to the conversation. Very interesting take. I really appreciate that, and I thank you very much for all of the comments. Do you not forget? There's over 500 of us watching right now. One man can say, now for show me the picture. Of course, I'm not obligated for showing the picture of 500, but sometimes I can just want mind provoke them. All right. Let's get down. Okay, one last contribution here is from Jariatu Bia Soiree. Things will continue to fall apart of the center, which the ECSL by refusing to publish the so-called disaggregated or RFM forms. So if SLPP wins, let it win. And if the APC win, let them win so we can move on the country. Okay, that's lovely. And let me say this just for add to that, for put icing at the cake. Look, Famulem, the idea, they talk about real possibility. The idea that there's a refusal on the part of the ECSL for release this disaggregated list, polling station by polling station, which will show clearly, for put this thing to rest. It will show clearly that the president won the elections, first round 55.6% or whatever. Why would Mohamed Kone, if he has this result that he pronounced, which made the president, why wouldn't he produce the results? Famule will answer this question back. If Mohamed Kone has got the results which made President Bio president, first round, clean, he get the results where he read from. Now 2 months now in the council. Why in the police result just for satisfy people? Of course, that's a question. But that question, I will attempt for answer. And it's simple. And I say so, it's because he does not have it. He does not have it. And this is why there are rumors and people are upset about these elections, and the rumors will continue for thrive. Because indeed, if he gets them, like he don't pull a lot on time for sure. Say, this is it. This is how we arrive at the president winning the elections. But he does not have it. And dear Mr. Kone for pull the results. I challenge Mr. Kone for pull the results. And if he does pull the result and he shows that the president win the election, first round with 55%, I will take back my word. I will apologize to him. I promise I will do that. But this is not simple logic. The reason why they pull him is because he does not have it. If he had it, it was clean and fair with all this pressure and the legitimacy where the presidency they look for, pauper, if I don't pull him. Because if you pull him, then definitely the whole world will be congratulating the president without much ado. This is not fact. This is a fact. Why don't we move on quickly and end the show because it's taking a while. So, part of the problem I just talk about just now is if you want for reform, you need for begin and for really look. And when I say really look, I mean there has to be a commitment, a sincerity for look at the system where go wrong or where wrong in order for let you perform any kind of reform. This now you need for do. You evaluate the entire system because you're sincere. Are you going to do this? Well, a question for you. So here are the things. really they continue for plague the country since election. And we all know this. So when I put challenges on the basis of legitimacy, it is because people are asking the questions. And hitherto, waiting I say Gigi Snow, we are challenge the commissioner of elections for pull the results. If he get them, make he pull them, because if he pull them, he allayed the fear of everybody. He puts the doubting Thomases, here to sleep. It shows that the emperor still has clothes on. So, Mr. Cornelia Pulam, but here are the things that people are asking. One, up to today, almost 2 months, the ECSL, under the leadership of Commissioner Mohamed Kone, till today, they don't fail for pull the election results, where they show results by polling station by polling station. These are some of the demands of the people, and he's failed to do so. And if he been get them, for sure say the president win a clean elections, but by now it didn't have front page pan all them paper, then didn't have the website, it did here, it did there. But up to this day, una way they come and say, don't you think your accusations are far-fetched and this and that, the issue of legitimacy? This is exactly what the legitimacy is. To confirm that indeed the president won not only on the basis of the announcement, like the analogy I gave earlier, if you go school, when you in a school, when you get your end of year report, it end up with a percentage. It end up with percentage. Yeah. Okay, 1 minute here. Yeah, drop the file in the office. Send me an email that you've dropped it. Just put it on the cabinet, the red one. Thank you. Sorry, Fambulem. I'm sorry. So if you get them, if I don't pull them, because this is not the issue of legitimacy. This is what people are asking for to this day. That's what they're asking for. He still refused for pull this result by polling station by polling station. So if you been go school, the analogy will give end of year, you get your percentage, but that percentage is informed by the grades then where you get up to that point there at the closure of the school year. Not to just made up number, not to just magic number. No, that he attained 55% on the first round. How did he arrive at the 55%? The people of Sierra Leone wants to know. Not so. I'm sure a bulk of us will agree with that. So down in a one. The second one, where they prove say all my points that I'm making here, they get substance, which then again speak to the issue of legitimacy. Is if you know say the president win, why you know they allow independent auditors of these reports? Family, let me ask yourself that question, because the only reason I will dare to say is because again, you don't want for let people actually see the actual result, because the actual result not speak to waiting you tell the Sierra Leonean people. Because again, a simple logic, if the actual report that is lying there somewhere speak to what you told the Sierra Leonean people both on the 25th and the 26th, it automatically will tell you say 1 minute again, Fambulem. Yeah, hello, Colin. Yeah. So friends and family, like I'm saying, these are parts of the problem because he's failed to even allow an independent audit of the report. So if a report is clean, you will allow auditors, independent auditors, to come and read the report so that they can satisfy the questions being raised by the general public. This puts to rest the case, but instead, this is not the case. Okay. Another thing is addressing the concerns. Remember that when the issue happened, the elections happened, the International Observer Mission did raise concerns about the independence of the elections. They reported issues of thuggery, assault, election manipulation, ballot filling, and etc. They did all of this. They did. Instead, what did the government officials did? They dismissed all those reports and worked up their own people against these people, the election commission, observers. They did, to a point where a senior official of government or party official came and used insults at these people. And then all of it was regurgitated, tongue-tied, regurgitated by followers of President Bio. So all of these observations in terms of the Tallinn process that are questionable has not been answered as yet. Then how then can't we challenge the legitimacy of the entire exercise? They come up from, this is my point. All of these issues are indicative of serious malfeasance of the entire process. Now the president commissioned an inquiry without acknowledging and addressing these particular issues that are thorny, that are being raised up to this day. So anyway, the US ambassador don't speak, and we don't hear him. He does not speak for government, but he's a very powerful man as well, and he said what he said. He asked APC to take up their position in government because it's from that position that you can better make an argument. But that does itself not sanitize the government to say, well, yes, all is free and fair, but the struggle continue. Fambulem, I want for end now for today. And I tell Una, thank you for tuning in. Over 500 of us. If you like what you hear, click that thumbs up. Go now with Facebook page and like we page or follow we page. We get more for Una where they come. Which will be talk now is about country. It's not really about party. Country first. We country day in a crossroad, but we can help for change that trajectory. The president can sit down there but make serious reforms so that things they no need for happen again. But will he? That's the question. He used to getting away with these things. Way McKinney happened, he set up an inquiry made up of friends. The outcome wouldn't be once now it happened. Where they accused the former first lady of corruption. In friend Ben Kaifala and go investigate, and the president before Ben Kaifala they begin investigate don't already say in West not guilty. Now Uda go say in West guilty. When Panemba Road opened, massacre happened there. He set up a commission. The outcome of that commission there, basically, now waiting and be expecting, waiting and Taylor. Nobody held accountable. People and just die in vain. The same cannot continue. And like I say again, Fambulem, all good things must come to an end. This has been a TNN, Then and Now TV media production. My name is Prince Emil Chroma. And once again, if you like what you hear, don't forget for follow we. Please follow we on our Facebook page, subscribe, click the bell so that you don't go miss anything again. More as we get it, this is the TNN TV media. Good night, goodbye for now. Thank you.